Hi, my name is Abraham Jaramillo. I'm a teaching artist for DSTL Arts, which is a non-profit arts mentorship organization that inspires teachers and hires emerging artists from underserved communities. And today, I'm here to teach a really fun and meaningful lecture for one of our programs called Creative Impact. And I chose to title this lecture Home Sweet Home. But before we begin, I want you to know that the topic of this series of lectures under Creative Impact is decent living. So let's begin. As a member of society, regardless of country, an individual gives away his total freedom in exchange for membership, which guarantees certain rights and benefits, and these have evolved and changed throughout the times. These I call the social contract, and today we can probably call it the middle class. And so, what does a membership gets us? One, having a decent sized home. Two, having one or two cars. Three, having an adequate medical health care. Four, having the means to raise and put kids through college. Five, having the opportunity to retire comfortably at a convenient age. Six, having the extra income to save money for emergencies and a modest vacation here and there. So, needless to say, a society contract had a small handprint for women, people of color, and other minorities. Historically, didn't receive all the benefits of the social contract. Yet, today we have all the benefits, or do we? But before we start to talk into the present, I want you to strap yourself to the leather seats of the DSTL Arts time machine. Yeah, this is my high budget special effects, well, sound effects. So, daily life in 1915. 2 years after income tax came into the scene, you're doing about average. If you were making $887 a year, which in today's money is $19,881 according to the census. Like workers of today, those living in 1915 live in various types of housing. People rented a house or an apartment. The ratio of renters to homeowners was about 4 to 1 in 1920. The cost of a home in 1915 was about $3,200, which in today's money is $92,6,800 in today's money, compared to 2022's median home value of $374,900. So it's fair to say that before the 1930s, most Americans were poor or near poor. And that's just based on the quality of living and income. Yet, two things change the economic fabric of the United States. First, the devastation of the Great Depression created a grassroots rebellion of labor, farmers and others against the careless rich class that caused the 1929 crash. These forces produced FDR, and his New Deal of union rights, social security, and other tools that empower ordinary Americans to begin rising up from poverty. Second, the government's national mobilization for World War II created an explosion of new jobs and opportunities for millions, opening people's eyes, boosting confidence, and raising expectations. It's important to know that these changes happen gradually, and the World War II, which started in September 1st, 1939, and ended on September 2, 1945, was a tremendous factor of the creation of the United States middle class. A post-war rise in unionism, the passage of the GI Bill, the housing program, and other progressive actions led to the doubling of the median family income in only 30 years, creating a middle class that included nearly 60% of Americans by the late 1970s. And it's here where we need to return to 2023 and give the DSTL Arts time machine a well-deserved rest. So we're back. But sadly, the middle class stay behind. The downfall of unions, globalization, automatization, governmental failures, and many other reasons have devalued the middle class. The downfall of the middle class is a huge factor of today's housing problems. In reality, housing is a complex one. Redlining, inflation, house flipping, lack of lower income housing, high education cost, inappropriate healthcare system, multi-generational wealth, high cost of materials and labor, supply and demand, migration and immigration, land scarcity, construction and development laws, rent control, greed, natural disasters, gentrification, political refugees. All are pieces of the housing puzzle. But today we are going to destroy them all and create our home sweet home. All realities start with a dream. And so let's put that dream onto paper. First, I want you to write the answers of these questions. What size is the house of your dreams? How many rooms and for whom? Is it an apartment in a skyscraper or a house with a backyard in the suburbs? Or a cabin in the woods? Or a bubble under the sea? What is around it? What services would you need to be close by? So, while you answer these questions, I'll head back to the studio. Home sweet home. So now that we're back in the studio, we are gonna use the answers that we came up with during this previous exercise of writing, and we are going to use them to create the perfect house, right? And now I just want to remind you that the size that we are looking for submissions are 8 by 10, and that we can make them on paper or digitally or a combination of both. And for the next part, let's head to the computer. And so we are in the computer. And just quick, so we can start, I want to review the questions and my answers.
What size is the house of your dreams? I put medium size with a big outside space. And then how many rooms and for whom? I put 4 rooms and 2.5 restrooms. One room will be for the parents, 2 rooms for the kids, and one room will be for a studio slash guest room. Then the other question is it an apartment in a skyscraper or a house with a backyard in the suburbs or a cabin in the woods or a bubble under the sea? And I place my answer as a cabin in the foresty area. I really love trees. Then what is around it? I put perhaps the northern Californian coast. I really love the coast when you go like up San Francisco. That would be amazing. Then what services would you need to be close by? And for me, I put school, hospital, grocery store, and good restaurants. So let's begin. As you can see, I have my window open on a Photoshop file. And again, you can do this in paper. I just chose to use it Photoshop for you guys to see easily. See, here we have basically the size of a page that we're thinking about, 8 by 10. And then I'm gonna just add another layer. Never work on the white layer, just work on top of it. And again, it's in a portrait mode. Don't do landscape because that will basically change the thematic of how a book will look. Because people will not flip the page to just see your drawing, most likely, unless they're really interested. So it's better to just try to do the horizontal, the vertical part. So I'll probably again use black and white to start, and then create basically a line to set the ground. This is for the 2D version. 2D version, right? Again, you can use also a ruler, but I choose just to have this, and you can have small person just to give scale, you know. And again, you can start setting up doors, windows, and so on. That'll be the easiest way to approach this, and I guess I like this to make it easy. Basically this. Sorry again, it's still solid over, but I'll roll of this. Couple of windows here. Most likely that. Perhaps you want to add a garage, you know, put it on the side of the house. I like kind of that kind of side of the house thing, and maybe a window for the garage, and a driveway, right? And a couple of trees. And again, after that, you can start making details. Like this is kind of more like the quick way to approach it. You can change the size of the door as well. Raise. I always tell people when they're drawing, just don't worry too much about the initial drawing. Just draw it super light, as you can see. When you're doing pencil here, I can just erase anything or put another file on top of it. Again, you can even put more trees or bushes and the driveway of, I don't know, some type for the kids to play with, you know, and things like that. You can always choose those things, maybe a path for this for the entrance, you know, a couple of rocks, things like that. That could be a way to approach it, and also you can approach the 3D version, which will be basically will have again you can change the perspective of it. Same, put the person here walking, and it's a couple of windows here, right? Windows that we approach. Again, this is just fast drawing, so you guys can see it. I think this is kind of the way the driveway, the garage will look like on the side. Pick it up for the car. You can even draw your car if you, if you want to, right? Again, this is kind of a quick way of doing it, so we don't lose too much time on the drawing. And that's kind of a here's the driveway that we're talking about. That will go to the front. This kind of thing. A couple other tree that we were thinking of. Put it there, right? So this could be another way to approach your house. And again, as you can see, it's a kind of a medium-sized house. It's not too big, but and also not too small. Most likely the studio will be in the top, right? I would like to have this maybe with a bigger window here, with a nice kind of like the Crow movie. They had a huge window on the top. I know I think it was a different type of building. But still, I love those huge windows that provide a lot of light and a nice look into the outside. Perhaps maybe one of those things they pop up, like they do a couple of windows that pop up from the sides. I don't know if you guys have seen those houses, have, right? And so on. I mean, and these are the two ways you can approach it. And the third way will be using a program to assist you if you don't know how to do 3D stuff. And I have this program that you might want to try. Even if you might not try for this project, you might want to try anyways. So here is, it's called SketchUp, and it's basically a program that helps you do things on 3D. And it's free. You can just have to subscribe. They have free versions. Of course, they have versions that you pay. It has more tools probably. I haven't got that, but it's a cool program, and I think it's a little easy to understand once you get start working with it. And again, this is the axis that it has, the X and Y axis, and this tool here is to move. See, and I have this character here to show you scale, right? And so if we were going to draw a house or create a house, basically we use this tool here. This is a like square thing, and then set up the basically the ground level, right? Let's go a little farther here. And again, sorry, this also helps you move things around. So actually, I cannot want to do it again, just because trying to create a house that we were already starting with, which more on the that kind of side. Let's do that, yeah. And then after that, you have more tools. Again, you can move it around and see things, which is the thing that we're gonna use a lot. This one moves it on this, right? So this other tool here, you have the arrow up. It helps you elevate things, right? See? And that's why I have the character here so you guys can see the actual size. So it's a little on the taller side. So maybe just zone it. Well, actually, you're gonna do first. I want to do this. I usually use people to have the scale of the first floor. See, and so let's create first the door and use the pen. You start using this, and this. That creates the door, and then you have you can sneak this in. Oh, what was the tool for that? I forgot. I think it was cut. Let's cut. Yeah, that's a tool. Can I use this too much? I used it in one class a long time ago, and I think it's a cool thing. And you can go inside the house and all that stuff. But for now, I just want you to focus on the outside, and then you can start creating windows. Yeah, there's tricks to make this a little faster. But again, I'm not as super proficient in this program as right. Again, cut, and move on to the next window, and so and so. But let's start with the second floor. So I'll probably just here up, and then up here, here, and here. Kind of creating a triangle. Hopefully that worked. There you go. That's what I wanted. And from there, I can just let me erase this line. I don't think we need that. Again, that can be an eraser. And then again, we use the tool to drag the roof, right? And that creates a nice roof. Huh? And again, you can also have what is the shapes? Circle. You can create a circle for the window we're talking about. Oops, sorry. Up. There you go. Kind of big window. And again, you go ahead and you cut it. You will have a nice window over there. And see, And so what I mean is with this, again, the more time you spend with it, but I don't want to too much in this. It's a thing you just have to be working with and practicing. But it's a nice approach of if you don't know how to do 3D stuff on your like in the paper, these would be a nice tool. And what I will do is either print once you're done with, again, don't go too much into the details. I think you can do a lot of details. You can even put skins on top of the walls so to create like a basically will look like bricks or different type of materials. But again, I don't go too much into that. But with these you can basically either print it and sketch on top of it, just to give you a reference. But for me, I'm just gonna do this. Basically, I will do this. Basically copy the screen and then open it on Photoshop. Have my Photoshop, and let me just erase this one that we did previously. And again, I'll add another. Then create that, and basically I will use this, and you can always cut stuff. Create that. I don't need the rest of the stuff, and I'll just create. See, now we have a nice perspective for the house that we're trying to get. And as in the paper you would do, like put another layer in Photoshop, and it basically like putting a paper on top of it, right? And then I will just lower the opacity so it doesn't look too much. So the next layer it'll be easier to see. See, you will just draw on top of it again, create better lines, but just for me to show you, and you will have your 3D guideline right this way. Especially like look at this circle. It would be nice to have a nice, and again you have a nice this kind of window, or you can have stained glass, which is the thing that we'll go for. Yeah, a couple more details, the door, and again, you also have the person over here, right? A couple windows, mm-hmm. And yeah, this is a huge house. Actually, it's not a medium size for this 3D, but and again, you get the point. And again, the more you practice with this, the better you will get. Again, will if you want to continue with the idea of the garage being here, just do this, add add it on, right? I will go a little more that way, probably more here. So this is not a longer house. It's more like a longer house than a going in house. Anyways, so you get the point, and you will have your driveway, your trees over here. I think the program also allows you to do trees, to place trees and things like that. But this is kind of the easy version of it. And you see, you have your sweet home. And again, I'll show you once I have done all my house how it will look like after I actually put more time and effort into it. But again, I want you to focus on the questions that you have, and I want you to send the questions with and your answers with the drawing, because we'll have both. Because we kind of want a sense of what people think will be a nice home for them. You know, the house of their dreams. Don't worry too much about price and all that. But for me, it's just about comfort. For me, I love nature, so I will probably put in a forest again. I will put more trees and perhaps next a cliff with the ocean. Oh, that would be nice, huh? And for me, it's more about that. The space outside, it seems to be, will be more of an important thing, because cleaning a house inside is also a mess. But I like that. And again, you can also go into bigger windows or more creative things, maybe a chimney, right? Let's even smoke. You can put the smoke, or uh, if you're into pools, you can put a pool here. You know, people jumping in and things like that. It just depends on what's your dream, right? And make sure you have that right. I think that's what we're looking for. And here is my final illustration of a home sweet home, right? And I chose to go for the 2D version of it because I wanted to show you more of the landscape. It was to me again, it's really important to have that. I chose kind of the northern coast of California as my place to be located, right? A couple of redwood giants, hopefully. And again, nice view to the sea. And if I zoom in, you guys probably could see a little more of the choices that I made. Here's the entrance. And here, this section will be mostly like living room and kitchen, and the rest of the half of the bottom floor will be probably two rooms and a restroom or two restrooms. And on the top, I'll have again like three more rooms with a restroom and as well as one of them being the studio, looking probably towards the horizon of the beach or the ocean, right? That's really nice touch. And again, I also made a little gazebo here. Used to have those that spot to read a book or drink or have a nice moment, right? Looking at the horizon. And a little bit of a road, a trail, most likely, a little rocks from the river to just go down all the way to the beach. And again, a little bit on the more dangerous side, but again, whoever can come down and join me in the beach, perfect. And again, also added my signature there. And hopefully, these will inspire you to create your own home, sweet home, right? And I'm glad you guys joined me for this lecture and catch you on the next one.